Howdy everybody, and welcome to the MrMaple Show. I'm Matt. Today we've got a great 10 at 10 for you. Today is the 10 at 10 for October 11th of 2022.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, sign up for our weekly emails on MrMaple.com. Today we're talking about 10 of the 20 trees getting listed today at 10 a.m. So if you sign up for our weekly emails, when this video goes out, you'll also get an email in your inbox with the other 10 trees that we're not talking about. So make sure you sign up for that weekly email so you can prepare for 10 a.m.
We hope you've been enjoying our regularly scheduled content and our podcasts. We've been bringing you so much here on this channel. We bring a new show every single day. We have a new show airing at 9 a.m. except for Sundays. Our Sunday podcast does premiere at 8 p.m. We hope you're enjoying these though. Definitely be watching some of our other content and letting us know. Our top 5 Mondays and our walkthrough Wednesdays are a personal favorite of mine. So definitely be jumping in those chats and letting us know. And everybody, let us know where you're watching from today, especially that international community. We love to know you're watching. We greatly appreciate you guys.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and start up down here on this end.
First up, we have Acer Palmatum Emerald Isle.
Some really nice sizes on these 1 gallons too right now. Emerald Isle is one of the new selections from the Floral Wonder Collection, Buchholz Nursery. Amazing plant, 6 to 8 foot in 10 years. Really gives you some nice emerald green colors.
Right, being a good Irishman, we got to have Emerald Isle here. Great plant, lovely color on this one. I really like it for its fall color. This one gets a very nice fiery red in the fall. Now it keeps that blue emeraldy green most of the summer. It does leaf out a little bit more of a chartreuse green to then having more of a dark emeraldy green in the summer.
I like how divided the leaves are. They're really Matsumuri-like. Very unusual and very different in that respect, as there's not a lot out there that has this style of leaf. And being that it's, you know, a good mid-size upright, makes it fit in a lot of people's garden, and those greens can really give a nice summery feel during the summer.
Yeah, this one's going to work zones 5 through 9 and can handle sun, typically up to zone 8. So really good one there for the durability, but really showy plant too. Makes a great pairing with several of other of Talon's introductions. And you can put this in your festival and you're going to get different spring colors and fall colors. I wouldn't even be surprised if this wasn't a sister seedling to festival with that unique leaf shape to it.
Definitely something interesting and different. So next we have Acer Palmatum Black Hole. It's one of the new ghosts from Talon Buchholz. We started calling them the new ghosts because they are selections that got another name like Black Hole and didn't get a name ghost put directly on the plant. But it still has that reticulated ghost-like variegation.
Yeah, you can count this one as one of the cosmic set there with Nebula. We can start our own series of just like space names maybe for the, it seems almost more Area 51-ish, but the Black Hole is a great plant, very, very dark foliage to this one. It's gonna be one of the darker forms of like that purple ghost style, almost black in it. You can see where it got that name from. Really unique color patterns here. Again, we're shooting this in early October, so it's a little bit more green right before that fall color, but these will get to a very bold, bright red in the fall as well.
Yeah, and the reticulation on this, on the dark leaf, you see where it would get that name of that black hole, because it just looks like all that etching in the vein just makes you think of something cosmic out there.
Right. I like Black Hole and Nebula. I think those would be a good pairing together too. Just one for the name and the collection they're from, but great plants. So next up here we have another Acer Bajurianum returning. You guys are always asking for trident maples. I know you bonsai guys love trident maples. This one is a bright yellow trident called Bling Bling. So Acer Bajurianum, Bling Bling.
Yes, we are actually the people who put the name Bling Bling on the selection. It's a trident maple that leaves out in the springtime with a bright golden yellow. I mean, it just has that sort of shine to it. And we may have been listening to some crazy song at the time and thought, bling bling. It fits very well for this plant though, because this is one of the most showy spring interest trident maples.
Yeah, love this plant, really intense. It's one of the brightest yellows in the early spring. It does fade to a green typically midsummer, and then golden yellows to oranges in the fall. I've even had blaze orange with accents of red in this one. It's an underrated fall color. Very durable being a trident maple. Now these are grafted, but always very popular for bonsai, this neon yellow version of a trident maple.
I'd love to see more bonsais done with this plant. I think this is one that's a spring interest trident. You don't get that. I mean, there's not many spring interest tridents out there, and this is one that definitely could give you something like a DeSojo-like effect to pair with a DeSojo, but a trident maple and a bonsai.
Now this makes a great tree in the landscape as well, typically 12 to 14 foot if you get this one out. It's going to be a very nice upright tree with a very durable habit. These work zones 5 through 9. Now they can actually handle a good bit of sun even in that zone 8. You will wash some of that spring color out in heavy zone 8 sun, but it is a beautiful plant. It does actually intensify it as well though. If you get some morning sun, you're gonna even more intense that faded bright yellow.
I like that sort of exfoliating type bark that the tridents get as they mature. It gives a nice winter interest out there and really a year-round interest even when they don't have leaves on them.
For sure.
So next we have Acer palmatum yellow cascade. This is one of the most buttery yellow weeping style that's out there.
Yeah, I love this one. We did a full video on some gorgeous specimens of this there at the office. Really cool plant. We got to evaluate this one early on from Talon. Another golden yellow weeping Ryusin style from Talon Buckholz. And like Tim said, this one gets to a really nice buttery yellow. It's going to leaf out a little bit more neon and then get to more of a soft buttery yellow as the summer goes on. And really just cool shades from that. I love this plant. This one does get about as big as you stake it. Like Ryusin, it's going to be very similarly shaped to Ryusin. I typically stake this one to about 5 to 6 feet and then just let it weep down from there.
Now, if you give it too much shade, you might not get as much butter yellow as if you give it some morning sun. So make sure you give it some morning sunlight to really peak up that butter yellow color on this plant. But these will, like Matt said, get as tall as you stake it. Great for hanging baskets. And they're a plant that is just it just will cascade straight down. So it's a plant that can be used in many different ways, from ground covers to use trellises. Any way that you could use a Ryusin, you could definitely use a yellow cascade with some yellow color.
Awesome durability, great plant. I'm a big fan of this one. Some good sizes right now. We have them unstaked, but you can easily stake up a central leader to this. Now, even if you take this and stake this right now, all that foliage is going to slowly rotate over and you're going to have it weeping from the uppermost point. So an easy way to stake a Ryusin style is just to get a high break to it and let it go from there. It's going to weep down. This one gets some really nice reds to oranges in the fall, typically a little bit more red than some of the others. Really nice plant. It is a definite 3-season interest with some very unique shapes even in the winter.
Love this plant. You know I love yellow. This is an excellent yellow weeper to put out there in the landscape and garden.
So we got one coming back here, guys. We try to get this one to stock as frequently as possible. You guys have been really loving the Hime types. Today we're bringing back Acer palmatum Kyohime.
Kyohime is a nice spreading, super heat tolerant dwarf that can go out there in the garden. Really has some nice purple-red borders in the early spring. It's one that's also excellent for bonsai as well. I mean, we've got a lot of selections on this 10 at 10 that make excellent bonsais.
Right. Excellent choice for that. This one's going to go to a reddish orange as well in the fall. Very small foliage is one of the reasons this one's popular for bonsai. Premium border to this one. This one leaves out in that early spring, almost a yellowish green eye with a dark purple border, and just a beautiful tree. I mean, it's very heat tolerant, very durable, very small mushroom shape this one. Think of this one more as a small tabletop. It's not weeping, but it's going to make more of a small plateau there in the landscape. Makes it perfect for in front of windows or an area where you want a small garden. Also makes the perfect topping for a nice patio planter. You put that one out there, it's got that little mushroom top tabletop over top of that.
This one makes such an excellent container plant out there. I mean, it just has that nice sort of rounded spreading habit that makes it really something unique and different. Gives some really good spring interest, a very unique shape, and it's just very pleasing to see one of these in a container.
Oh yeah, awesome plant. Definitely check out our full video on Kyohime. We talk about this one a lot. It's an excellent grower and one you're definitely going to want to have in your landscape.
So next we've got Acer palmatum Kamagata.
Another great one for bonsai, guys. We've got a good lineup here today for you bonsai fans. Kamagata, one that was popularized in the nursery trade and introduced by J.D. Vertrees, who wrote the book on Japanese maples. Now, Kamagata, he lists as being excellent for rock gardens for its small size and durability to heat. This is a very durable plant, has that twisting leaf to it, very unique, almost in that Makawa family, not quite as tightly layered, but very unique in the foliage.
Now, people often say that this looks like an eagle claw and that the name translates as eagle claw, but Washinoo is actually eagle claw in Japanese.
Right, Kamagata, I took a Japanese class and all I really learned in that class was that I don't know anything. Like, we heard how things sound phonically in Romanji, and so we're, if I said it perfectly enough, maybe my teacher could give me an almost translation. And from what we best could understand, Kamagata is like a small woodland duck that is popular in Japan that she was familiar with. If the name was said as phonically perfect as it could be, But definitely it doesn't mean eagle claws. That's just a mistake in the first edition there.
But being a small dwarf, it makes sense that it could be a Japanese person might have recommended the name Kamagata, which would mean like a small little woodland duck. But
awesome plant though, a little small, upright, very vase shaped in its habit, very, very heat tolerant. This one is another one that could be on one of our heat tolerant Japanese maple videos. This one works great zones 5 through 9, and it can push zone in that sun in zone 8.
Love this plant. We put it on a southwest exposure in East Flat Rock in a zone 6B.
With all brick.
With all brick.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the few plants that could really handle that high heat that was radiating off the brick. J.D. Vertrees mentions this is great for bonsai as well in some of his old catalogs. The unique leaf shape, the claw-like effect, and the way this one makes a nice upright with a very, an upright dwarf with a very unique structure makes this an excellent candidate for containers, the ground, or bonsai. Easy tree to grow. Make sure you give it good drainage. But this is a plant that is pretty amazing and is one that is definitely...
always popular.
Yeah, always popular and is definitely very unique.
Now we didn't lay it out this way, but next up on the table we have Peve Dave. This is an excellent red accompaniment with a unique sharp leaf as well. So this one's gonna have that very thin, long leaf, very almost hand-like of Peve Dave. Now Peve Dave is a very durable red dwarf that has some very unique habits to it.
Yeah, this is one that will end up getting 6 to 8 foot in 10 years. Really unusual and different in the fact that it has that almost lunar lobum style. I mean, it would probably be in that family.
Maybe.
But it also has these more rounded leaves, more amenum style leaves. And very unusual and very different by Peve Vergelt, who introduced Peve Starfish, Peve Multicolor, American.
Shout out to Tyne Vergelt, who visited us a few years ago with Hank Van Kampen. They actually came by and toured our nursery, and we took them around to some different places. And that's where that Peve name comes from. His father, Peve Vergelt. Just a great introduction here, and a whole great series. If you see that whole Peve series, they're excellent plants.
Yeah, and I think we may see another video coming up in the future, maybe the
Peve Vergelt collection.
Peve Vergelt collection, yeah. But really unusual and a maple that stands out. The leaf shape is really unusual, and for a dark red, almost purple red leaf with this style of leaf, it's definitely a maple that deserves a spot in most people's
Holds
gardens.
its color really well. Again, we're in October, so we're right before fall color on these. They're a little bit more greened up than you're used to right now, but these get to a really nice fiery red in the fall too, and just an all-around unique plant.
Yeah, love Peve Dave. Definitely one that's not used enough, and you don't see it in the nursery trade enough either. It's just so unique and different. I love the maples that are that stand out from the crowd, and there's not a lot that's like Peve Dave.
Yeah.
So next up we have Acer palmatum dissectum Sekimori.
Okay, I'm a huge fan of this one. Granted, my dad produced this one a lot early on, so any of the trees that Dad used to grow back in the 90s, you know, I feel like a big connection to those. This one's one that is a lovely arching habit tree, and it makes these just great arching habits to it. That's really what sets it apart from Waterfall and Verdus, is these really unique arching habits to it. J.D. Vertrees actually said that this may be his favorite green lace leaf, which is high praise there too, and excellent yellow fall color.
And he often says to take the lace leaf varieties and put them on a hill so you can look up and see the structure into them. And that's a great way to do Sekimori because it has this lovely arching habit, and with a more crisp yellow fall color that is a lot less orange. This is a weeping green lace leaf that is spectacular.
It almost has a cartoonish leaf and a cartoonish fall color. I love that it's low and wide. Great heat tolerance for this one too. A lot of people were growing this one from Dad back in the day in Columbia, South Carolina. This tree is going to work good zones 5 through 9. And again, it can handle some pretty heavy exposures in that zone 8 as well. Very, very durable plant. Excellent one for container gardening or in the ground. But I'm a fan of this one, especially right at dusk. It kind of looks like that highlighter in the garden. Even in the summer, that chartreuse new growth on it. Really great plant. Really uniquely shaped too. It's just got a great shape to it.
And it definitely grows wider than tall because of that extremely arching habit. And so it may be, 3 to 4 feet in height by 6, 7 foot in width in 10 years with a really nice arching shape to it. Great container plant, great in the landscape. But like J.D. Vertrees says, if you put it on a hill, you can really show off and accentuate those arching habits.
Right, excellent for that. Okay guys, we couldn't help but bring this one back. We just had it, sold out quickly, backed by popular demand. You guys said, hey, we got to get more of them in. Acer palmatum de Sojo, we've got them back in stock for you. Maybe this is the Bonsai-esque 10 at 10. But we've got the Sojo back in stock. These are always popular. We've got a good number in them, but they do tend to sell out same day, so be ready for Acer Palmatum de Sojo.
We had a good number last time, and they didn't last a day. They were gone. But the Sojo really lights up the spring with some bright, fiery reds in the spring, goes to the green during the summer, and then some bright, fiery reds in the fall. You know, I mentioned this before in other bonsai videos, but the thing that makes this so great is it's the epitome of maples changing colors throughout the seasons. And so it does that so poetically. That makes it a great bonsai because that you're replicating what you see in the landscape.
Right.
And this one, with the changing in the seasons, makes a perfect bonsai.
Really nice pink overlay in the summer over that emerald casting older growth. Great fall colors, really awesome in the spring. I mean, it brings that high intensity pink, but then you get some of those emerald shades and that new growth in the summer. It almost looks flowering midsummer is one of the things I love about it. It's an excellent plant to be growing in your landscape, but it's always sought after by the bonsai collectors. Now, I always let the bonsai guys know these are grafted selections. You can either bonsai this, or if you want, you could always plant this in the ground, air layer, or do rooted cuttings from this if you're a bonsai purist and you want something not grafted. But I've seen some awesome bonsais done of grafted forms like this that look great.
Yeah, love de Sojo. Love the intensity that it brings in the spring color, and it brings that insane intensity again in the fall. If you're looking for a colorful Japanese maple out in your landscape that's really going to be super intense, we're not talking dark maroons, we're talking bright fire engine reds in the spring and the fall. This one is an amazing plant for that.
For sure, you're going to love de Sojo. It's always highly sought after. Now we got another highly sought after one here at the end here, last but not least.
Acer Palmatum Hogyoku.
Now, Hogyoku is often paired with Osakizuki. It's a very popular pairing. This one brings that intense orange. If you're familiar with Osakizuki, if you saw our video on Yokohama nurseries, we talk a lot about Osakizuki in that one. And Hogyoku makes such a fun pairing. Now, I love to put these near each other because they look so similar, but then Hogyoku goes to that neon, famous, brilliant orange. It can rival sugar maples up north for sure for that intense, bright orange it brings.
Now, JD Veritrees talks about Hogyoku being the orange, Osakizuki being that red, and Ichijioji being the yellow. And Ichijioji gives yellows and oranges.
Yeah.
I think a really cool pairing is on our 10 at 10. We've got Hogyoku that gives you a bright orange. You've got de Sojo that gives you a fire engine red. And you've got Sekimori, which gives you a crisp yellow.
Oh man, you've got orange, red, and yellow there, and some classic colors throughout the summer texture-wise. This one is really one of the most unparalleled for orange fall color. Like I said, it rivals any sugar maple I've ever seen when it's at peak fall color. Hogyoku is spectacular.
It's not going to last long because we haven't listed in a while. So make sure when you're checking out on MrMaple.com, you check out quickly. That's complete the process of checking out. Whenever you do that, it saves it with your name on it. If you just have it in your shopping cart, you know, things may sell out while you're trying to check out. So make sure you check out really, really quickly.
Hey guys, let us know what your favorite new show is we're doing here on the Mr. Maple Show. We love your feedback. You know, Mondays are our top 5 videos. We've been doing some really unique ones with some different employees coming in here and telling us our top 5s. Tuesdays, you know, Tuesdays we're hitting you every Tuesday with this 10 at 10 video, and those are quickly becoming some of our most popular videos during the week. Now Wednesdays, we're doing Wednesday walkthroughs, which we're getting out, showing you what we're seeing. We're taking you around the nursery and showing off some different greenhouses or some things to come. Now on Thursdays, we're doing that collector's corner. You're familiar with that. We're gonna keep bringing you that. Those are individual cultivar highlights. And then on Fridays, we're doing basically how-to or gardening 101. So they're basic questions that you bring to us, and we love to go through and answer those in a video format for you guys. And then Saturdays, I mean, so many different shows here now. Saturdays, that Saturday showcase. So that's some really home run hitters like that Yokohama video or that Australian video where we talk about Japanese maples from Australia. There's some really fun sets we're bringing there. That's going to be videos kind of like the 10 at 10 format, but a little bit more geared toward like Talon Buckholz introductions, Area 51 introductions. And then last but not least there on Sundays, we're bringing you that new Mr. Maple podcast, guys. You can find that one on our YouTube channel in a video format on Sunday evenings. Spoiler warning, it airs a little bit earlier on most major podcast platforms. So if you want to catch that audio form, go follow us on Spotify, Pandora, all these different platforms. Any of your major iTunes or any of your major podcasting platforms, rate us 5 stars on there too. That'll help people find our show. And we've got some really good interviews lined up for that podcast.
iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. You can literally say, hey, Alexa, play the MrMaple show, and it'll start playing. Right. So pretty awesome stuff on being able to go listen to our podcast on so many different formats. We are super excited about that. Another thing we're super excited about is our open house. We've got an open house coming up on October 21st on Friday, and that's going to be from 8 to 4 on Friday. And then we've also got it the very next day on Saturday for people who couldn't make it out then on Saturday morning as well.
Yeah, that one's going to go 8 to 12 on Saturday. So we're not going to be quite a full day there, but hopefully we'll have some fall color started. We're just getting into fall color here in Western North Carolina. So we're going to dial you up some perfect fall color for open house. So you guys come on out and visit us. It's going to be a fun time. Pick up t-shirts, merch, and of course, tons of cool Japanese maples. We're going to be bringing it with that. Guys, we're going to have more up top than we've ever had at any point this year. I think all of our available 1 gallons are going to be up top at this point. By the time open house is here, we're working to try to get that done. Don't twist my arm too much if it's not, but that's our goal. So we're going to have some really good stuff up top. And yeah, come see us then. It's going to be a fun time.
October 21st and October 22nd. That's of 2022. So anybody who's watching this later, right, you might be at a future year where we've got a different date.
I always like to let people know too, these sizes are indicative of right now in 2022. We're shooting this video in October of 2022. So if you watch it a year from now, they may be slightly larger or slightly smaller, but this is really indicative of what we have this time frame.
We really appreciate y'all watching today's 10 at 10 video. Again, if you sign up for our weekly emails, you'll figure out the other 10 trees that we didn't talk about today that are getting listed at 10 a.m. So make sure you're signed up for that email. Like, subscribe, and share this video with your gardening friends.
Hey, it's going to get longer and longer as we keep doing more stuff. We're going to say, hey guys, follow us on, on our podcast platforms. But we really appreciate all your support. If you guys didn't tune in, we wouldn't be able to do this. So we really appreciate, your support for this YouTube channel. We've got tons of really fun ideas to keep doing more in the future for you guys, and I hope you're enjoying that. Again, I'll always make a plea because it's fun to hear. Let us know in the comment section where you're watching from today, especially if you're watching us in those live premieres. And as always, you can jump in those premieres and chat with Tim and Brian and I. Often all three of us will be in there in the chat, letting you know what we think about something that's going on, maybe commenting on Wesley's top 5, letting you know something that's got us fired up there. We greatly appreciate all that support.
Take care, y'all.
God bless.
And have a great day.